Broncos, Raiders. Broncos win this game 29-19. Let's look at the top 5 graded Denver Broncos here in this one. Guard Quinn Miners, once again at the top of the list. Holy cow, another elite grade for him, a 94.0. Cornerback Riley Moss, a 90.5. Cornerback Patrick Tan, next on the list with an 83.0. Offensive tackle Garrett Bowles with a 79.9. And wide receiver Devon Bailey with a 77.5. Bo Nix in this one, a 75.5 overall grade. On Las Vegas' side of things, edge rusher Max Crosby, an elite 90.0. Guard Jordan Meredith, an 81.0. Guard Dylan Parham with a 78.9. Offensive tackle Colt Miller, 77.7. And offensive tackle DJ Glaze, a 72.0. You love to see the trenches represented so well in the top 5 there for the Raiders. Gardner Minshew with a 57.6 overall grade. And my most disappointing, just getting right to it, is sort of the Raiders injury luck, right? You got Aiden O'Connell, the injury to his hand, and he can't grip the football, so he's been out for the last couple of weeks. Gardner Minshew now broke his collarbone in this game. He is out for the season as well. And so it's just a year from hell for the Las Vegas Raiders, and a lot of the bad luck, and just we're not able to take that next step off of some momentum that they had the previous year. But that's my most disappointing. But your stat that told the story here, what do you got?
This is about 2 teams with different stories with turnovers. The Raiders, because of their quarterback situation mostly, the worst turnover margin in the NFL, and they had 2 in this game. And then you have the Broncos, who have gone now 3 straight games without a turnover. Bo Nix has 1 turnover-worthy play in his last 8 games. This was a 10-point difference in this game, and the 2 Raiders turnovers led to 10 points. This is just the difference. And I say it all the time, there is a value in just not screwing things up. And Sean Payton and Bo Nix right now, and their defense for that matter, for the most part, they're just not screwing anything up. And the Broncos are hard to beat because they don't beat themselves. That was the case in this game. You want my painful bet of the week this week.
Oh, what
mine was?
What was your painful bet of the week?
I had a parlay myself, and here's how it got killed. Broncos minus 5.5. Got it.
Oh, yeah.
Bo Nix, 225. Got it.
Yeah.
Bo Nix, 2 touchdowns. Got it. And I needed Raiders under 17.5. And that last field goal that Minshew let him down for got him over 17.5, because it was they had 16 points going into that drive, down 10, and they got the field goal first. So that was fair. We each get one.
It's tough.
Called it on Bo Nix. Credit to Ben there for calling out. Just go Bo Nix. He's got it.
Bo didn't blink in this game, and I think that's the stat that tells the story, because it's the stat that has told the story over the last, 8-9 weeks of Bo Nix now at this point, who is sneaky Offensive Rookie of the Year?
I don't think it's sneaky. I think it's Nix or Daniels or Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers is the reason why it would kind of be sneaky, because I think people have talked about Daniels, people have talked about Brock Bowers.
See, Bowers, I think, is the sneaky one.
Why? Just because he's tight end, he's not a quarterback?
I haven't heard any noise that people think he should win it.
Oh man, I've heard more about that, but Nick's getting that sort of recognition with that award, I think, is important now. And I say that he didn't blink in this game because first quarter of this one, 65.3 passing grade, 50% completion percentage, 1 big-time throw, 1 turnover-worthy play. The second half of this game, so beyond the second quarter, so just second half of this game, 85.3 passing grade, 81.1 adjusted completion percentage. I mean, he was just surgical in the second half of this game. He came alive, and he threw the touchdowns, and obviously he was able to get the team a victory. So the fact that Nix is playing this well, and what I like the most about Nix isn't the fact that he's not failing at all. It's when he's failing, he's like, all right, short-term memory. We're going on to the next one. And for rookie quarterbacks, that's really, really difficult. We're seeing Caleb struggle with that, like we certainly did in the first half of the season, where Caleb was struggling, and then he just couldn't get out of his own head, right? And I think that that's something that we have had to monitor throughout the season, but doesn't seem like that's the case with Nix. Nix is ready. He trusts his head coach. He trusts himself. And so, to me, him playing as well as he did in the second half of this game is truly what told the story, because the Raiders were right there. The Raiders could have won this football game, but Nix did not want it to be so. On the most impressive side of things, Jacoby Myers, 15 targets, 10 catches, 121 receiving yards. That's his most targets since 2023. That's his most receptions since 2022. And it's the most receiving yards in a single game in his entire career. So shout out to Jacoby Myers. Fantastic career day for him as my most impressive there. Your most impressive and most disappointing, what do you got?
I try to find something different, so mostly so I don't have to listen to myself repeating myself all the time, but I have to do it 2 weeks in a row. Quinn Miners at right guard for the Broncos, a 94 overall grade again after a 94 overall grade last week. He's got 2 now of the 6th highest graded games by a guard this season, and it's each of his last 2 games. 93.7 run blocking grade, just mauling people inside. I told you Atlanta's linebackers were getting sick of him last week.
Yeah.
The Raiders linebackers were sick of him in this game. He was just teeing off on people again in their zone schemes and on the second level. 8 positive run blocking grades. I don't know if we can track just hot streaks and cold streaks for guards, but Quinn Miners is on an absolute burner right now. And like I said last week, one of the best guards in football. And most disappointing for me, watching both of these teams in the red zone was painful. The Broncos were 2 for 4. The Raiders were 1 for 5. The Broncos were trying to keep the Raiders in the game, and the Raiders apparently just didn't want to be in it. But I'll give the Broncos. Let me stretch this out to the 30. I got to cheat sometimes to fit the narrative, right?
Go ahead.
How these things work.
Go
right?
ahead.
You always talk about, that the numbers work to my narrative. That's why they work.
It's great.
Inside the Raiders' 30-yard line.
Yeah.
The Broncos ran 16 plays and gained 12 yards. And 2 of those plays were actually the 2 touchdowns they scored. The other 14 plays, they lost 8 yards total. They drove the ball like crazy all day, and they just couldn't punch it in, which is weird because lately they've been one of the better red zone teams in the league. And then the Raiders, 1 for 5 in the red zone, 1 touchdown, 3 field goals, 16 plays for 45 yards down there. So they're not even getting 3 yards a play. Mm-hmm. And I still don't, it's just a minor thing for me I'm just here to complain for 5 seconds. When you're down 10 and there's not much time to go, why do teams not just kick the field goal right when they have the chance to? Because the goal is to score 10. So I'm talking here. The Raiders.
They would rather do the more difficult thing. Are you saying like?
So like in this.
So like you're saying the second they get into field goal range, just kicking it?
Yes.
Like on first down?
Yes, because you need an onside kick and 2 scores anyway. Yes. I see this every single week, multiple times. The Raiders in this game.
Well, you would think because you're already closer to the end zone.
Don't care. Because the Raiders never even scored. They didn't score the touchdown. The time just ran out. They got down to I'm just throwing this. I know it's a minor thing, and I know winning when you're down 10 in the last 2 minutes is an extremely low probability. But Bears did it, right? And I know they went touchdown first and got it. You never know when these things happen.
This is interesting.
Desmond Ridder got the Raiders down to the 20 with a minute left, roughly.
So you're just saying kick the field goal there.
Kick it right there. Yep. You have time. Instead, they kept going for the touchdown. And first of all, they didn't score it. And second of all, even if they did, there would have been like 8 seconds left.
So then it doesn't come down. So then it wouldn't come down to the nerves of a last kick either, right?
No, you'd be throwing a Hail Mary.
If you
even got the onside kick. Which obviously, look, I'm talking low likelihood stuff, but I don't understand. If it's me with like no timeouts in the last 2 minutes, the second I'm in range, I'm kicking it. At least to give me a chance.
I don't hate it. I don't know if I agree with it.
It's a minor thing that comes up for me once or twice a week that I cannot stand. Why does it have to be touchdown first and then field goal? You need 10 points. Any which order you can get them in. Is it just no one thinks about this or what? The second they got to the 20 with a minute to go, I'm kicking a field goal. I just don't. I never understand. It's not just the Raiders. I see it from, at some point in the year, I see it from every single team down 10 late in the game.
I'll think about it.
It just kills me because that was also one of the red zone trips. That was the last red zone trip, and they didn't score any points, and they had no chance to win, as opposed to maybe the 5% chance they did have.
So they had no timeouts, right?
Maybe
so
one,
like,
but I don't think they had
I'm thinking about this in my head. Like, if you had timeouts,
then you're managing the clock thing. If you had all 3 timeouts, yeah, go ahead, try to score.
No, but if you had all 3 timeouts on the other side of things, and I'm literally thinking about this,
you could still kick it.
Then you would not have to onside it, right? So like you
wouldn't have to.
So like you could kick it immediately, and then you could
3 timeouts is a different story. If you have less than 3, let's say you have 2 and there's a minute left, then it doesn't help you because it's going to run off anyway.
Right.
Pretty much with anything less than 3 timeouts, I think you just kick it. I just don't. You need 10. It doesn't matter what order they're in. I'll never. Sorry. That's
I don't
just
know.
that's just a
look, I don't
thing for
hate
me
it.
that
I don't hate it, but
it just kills me. I just don't understand.
I'm gonna sit in my hotel room tonight and just think about this.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just a weird thing I always see. They're like, well, if we get the touchdown first, we got the hard one out of the way.
I don't hate you thinking about it.
It's all the hard one.
I don't hate you thinking about it.
Coming back from 10 points down in the last 2 minutes is the hard one.
I actually
That's the task.
don't. I don't hate taking away like a final like buzzer beater kick from somebody. You know, like there's like no pressure.
That too.
So you're just like you're just kicking it. Like it's fine, like it's a field goal, whatever. Like you're still down a touchdown or whatever, like
because that's actually a low pressure kick, a 38-yarder down 10.
Right.
He's going to hit that.
Right. You're going to hit that.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I just don't I'll never understand it. Yeah, I don't get it.
Anyways. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. And if you don't have a PFF Plus subscription, you can get one to see all the premium stats that we talked about here on the show, plus the expert betting and fantasy advice over at subscribe.pff.com. The description is also right below. So if you are not a PFF Plus subscriber, you can become one today.